So thank you here for everyone for joining in here today. My name is Voon Mei, and I'm a life coach. So I didn't study to be a life coach. There's actually no course to actually do to become a life coach. Into this role of doing what I do today is because of what I went through and what I've been through as well. So thank you, Michelle, Linda, Whitney, and Nor for turning on the video because I would love to see all the beautiful faces.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
then at least I know who I'm looking at and who I'm dealing with, and I can see the emotions, whether you like it, whether you don't like it, it all shows. So feel free to use the text anything. And of course, I got my little dog there, my biggest supporter of all my in my whole journey here, barking there, showing his support because I think he needs some food to keep him quiet for the next half an hour at least. Okay, here you go, Latte. Here's some food for you now. Shoot. Okay, bye. Right. Okay, I'm just gonna share some slides to just tell you a little bit what I do, how I came across this, and what we're here to do today. Yeah, so why we're here for this moment? Because I think I'm really glad that I'm doing this because whatever Sharon is doing here, building that community, that tribe for everybody here is so important. We've always said that, it's always so important to have a community that understands, a community that supports, and a community that's always there for each other without any judgment. And you can say anything you want. I think that's the
Yes.
beauty of it. Sometimes when I have this course where I always say it's okay not to be okay, because whenever I say to people, how are you today? And they always say, oh, I'm okay. I'm like, well, you know what? Actually, I can see on your face you're not feeling very okay. So you don't need to really put on that face all the time to be this brave person. Um, Vulnerability is not a weakness; it's actually strength.
Yep.
It's within you to be so brave that you can actually share the vulnerability with people. I always believe in that. So, being in this community really works. So I'm just going to share some slides, have a little bit of conversation about what I do, and then we can have more interactive share later. Yeah. Okay. So can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, okay. I'm just going to put it in this because I don't know what's happened with my computer today. It doesn't seem to want to go into that presentation mode. Yeah, so we just have to
Um,
work with this for it. Sorry
it's
about that.
on boycott Sunday.
Yes, I know. Tell me about it. All right. So thank you all for choosing this moment for yourself, for being here, for your own well-being, and also for you to reset your emotional well-being. So before we start, if everybody could take just one deep breath together, right? Take a deep breath in and a big, whew, let's get it all out. And I just want you to type in one word in the chat box to just share with me one thing that you are feeling today, right now. What is one word that can describe how you are feeling right now? Feeling very tired. Thank you, Michelle. Feeling very stressed. Vinny, yes. No worries about it. Let's see how we can get through that today, okay? Very overwhelmed. Thank you, Karen. Yeah, actually, I'm also feeling very tired because I just got back from Kwantan just about an hour and a half ago. And I'm sitting here. So I'm very blessed, very mental fatigue, very exhausted. Thank you. Now, thank you about that. So let me share with you a story first before I move on. Is a story of how I lost myself and how I found my way back. So I'm going to stop share because I would love to see everybody's faces while I'm doing this. So I'm going to share with you something very personal with all of you because I know many of you are also carrying silent stress, silent expectations, and sometimes silent pain. Now, for many years, I lived behind a mask. I had a wardrobe full of masks, and I always wonder every day, what shall I wear? I'll wake up in the morning, I'll open the cupboard, and I'll be like, okay, let's wear this, let's wear that. And sometimes I'm so scared that the mask will fall out, I will put on another extra mask just in case. I just didn't want people to see. So I looked very successful, I looked very strong, and I looked like I could handle anything and everything that fell on my plate. But inside, I was collapsing. Because growing up, I always felt like I needed to prove my worth, especially being the youngest in the family. Success was a word that carried on in my household for many years. My brothers, my sisters, my father, my parents, they were all over the magazine. They were in Tatler, they were in Prestige, and where was I? Broken. Because I came back from a broken marriage from UK. And I always feel that I wasn't enough. And that feeling stayed with me into my adulthood. And when things got very overwhelming for me, I went through 11 miscarriages. And for that, I felt like I couldn't be a wife. I thought that I wasn't a woman because I wasn't able to have children because that was what a marriage is all about, right? Marriage means having children, marriage means having a family. And I was going through multiple miscarriages, and for everyone that I've lost, I always feel there goes my hope. There goes my value as an individual. There goes my value as a woman. And I felt like I failed as a wife. I felt abandoned over and over again. And I tried to cope on my own. And I couldn't ask for help because I was ashamed. I was very embarrassed. I was all the way in UK. I couldn't tell my parents that I was suffering. I didn't want them to worry about me because I was all on my own in UK at that time. My parents were in Malaysia. I didn't want to admit that I was drowning because that would show sign of weakness. Hey, I'm this owner, right? I own restaurants, I own cafe. I'm powerful. I shouldn't be able to be so weak. So I never opened up, and instead I just kept pretending that I was okay every single day. But the stress, the pain, the shame, didn't stay quiet forever. And one day, everything came crashing down. I found best friends. And my best friends were Macallan's, Johnny Walker, Tiger, Heineken, Guinness, Maltai. Anything you can think of that had anything that had a percentage in it. Those were my best friends. You know why? Because those friends never judge. Those friends won't show me sympathy. Those friends won't say to me, "Oh, Voon Mei, poor you." I didn't want to hear that. So my best friends became those. And that's when my family, who I thought didn't care, because I came back to Malaysia with my head between my toes, starting all over again. And my family intervened 10 years ago. And they said, May, you need help. I felt so angry. I felt so betrayed. I thought, who are you to tell me I need help? Just because you're my mom? Just because you're my sister? Just because you're my brother? Who are you? What do you mean I need help? You guys need help here. I don't need anything. I just need to be on my own. Just leave me alone. And that's how I always felt. Fine. Fine. Frustrated, irritated, neurotic, and emotional. That's what fine means at that moment. Frustrated, irritated, neurotic, and emotional. I was so frustrated that people could think that they know better than I did what I was feeling. I was irritated because I thought that no one cared and I was just doing this on my own. I felt neurotic because I thought everyone's leaving me and no one wants to be around me. And I felt emotional. I was so up and down. I was like a yo yo. One minute I was crying, I was laughing. I didn't know what I was going through. And that was what I was feeling. I felt fine. But underneath all that, when my family said, May, you need help, you need to go somewhere and get the help. Even though I felt betrayed, but underneath all that, I felt terrified. I was so afraid that people was going to see through me, and I was afraid of losing control. But you know what? What I was afraid of is if I didn't stop, I would die. Because alcohol, I have written off 3 cars in accidents because of drinking. Yep, I did that. I didn't care because I was going through so much emotional pain that I really didn't care anymore after that. So what my family did was they got together and they sent me to a rehabilitation center in Koh Samui, a private center in Thailand. And when I arrived, I hated everything there. And I told myself, I don't belong here. I don't need this. But you know what? Actually, I didn't know who I was anymore. When I was there and I got through the emotions, I have no idea who I was. I was just, remember what I said just now about the mask that we're wearing? I was just wearing that mask over and over again, trying to look like I'm so strong. But actually, I'm not. So there was this old lady that I was supposed to share a room with. One day she said to me, May, your story is not over. Why are you giving in? Why are you surrendering? Why are you giving up? Why? Your story is not over. You don't need to fight this alone. It's okay. Just give in to it. Stop resisting. Stop pushing it away and start learning. Start being. Stop living. Start being. And that's when I went, oh, okay. something can change. So the life of you can make a difference. And for the first time in my life, after the old lady told me that story that I could do it, felt my ego soften. My walls dropped and my heart opened. And for the first time I cried. And I really, really cried. Not from weakness, but from relief. Because I can finally put down everything that I felt. And I could realize that I spent so long surviving that I forgot to live. Because every day was a battle for me. Getting through every day was a survivor. It was on survival mode that I was in. I was no longer living in my life. I was just surviving my life. And that surrender changed my life. Now, I stayed in the advanced care rehab for 4 months. And then I became a support worker in the same rehab. And I moved to Chiang Rai from Malaysia for 3 years to rebuild myself, just so that I could learn more. I learned how to breathe again. For the first time, it felt so good. Like breathing wasn't a forced moment. I learned how to feel again. That was nice to put names and words to an emotion that I felt. But the most important thing was I learned to forgive myself for all the pain and sufferings I put myself through. We always forgive people, but we forget to forgive ourselves. We always say nice things to people, but we stop saying nice things to ourselves. We don't say mean things to other people, but yet we say it to ourselves. Why? Because we stop valuing ourselves, we stop learning to care for ourselves, and we stop learning to choose ourselves, and that's what happens. So today, if you feel overwhelmed, if you feel tired, if you feel lost or you feel alone, you can begin again. Even though it's now 5 p.m. and like half the day is gone, it's okay. It doesn't mean that you need to live the tiredness throughout the whole day. It doesn't mean that you need to be overwhelmed from now, this moment, until the whole day. It doesn't mean that you wake up feeling tired, you have to feel tired the whole morning. The whole 24 hours, you can choose differently. And you don't need to carry everything on yourself. So let me ask you again in the group chat, have you had a moment that forced you to stop? Any moment? Yes or no? Have you had any moment that forced you to stop? Yes. Yeah. Yes, we do. We have a lot of moments that tell us, hey, take a break. But do we now ever listen to that moment? We don't, right? We will tell all our friends, hey, take a break. When was the last time you actually told yourself that? Take a break. Never. Let's all be proud and say that. Never, right? Yep, I was like that. Never. Exactly, Maylin, correct. Never. But we'll always say nice things to other people and tell them, please take a break, guys. Do that. Tell it to ourselves. Why is that? Why do you think that is? You can unmute yourself and share with me. Why do you think that is? Why do you think you feel overwhelmed? You can unmute yourself and tell me. It's okay. Don't have to type. Whoever is typing.
Me.
Let's make this session interactive. Yes, Karen.
Yeah. No, I just think that we innately don't think we deserve.
Ah, very interesting. You don't think you deserve,
Mm.
right? We only deserve to have bad things happen to us. We don't. Sometimes we feel that when things happen too well, we're like, oh no, it's okay. Don't worry about it. You know, I'm not good enough. Thank you. So it's a value that we put ourselves in. The value. I could have done better. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what if you have done is the best of your ability at that moment? Did you ever think that? We live in other people's expectations. We live in other people's judgment and comments.
Yeah.
But for once, let's live in our own expectation, our own living, where we say to ourselves, we have done the best to our own ability. Why can't we just accept that this is the best that we can come up with? Because we grew up having people telling us that is not good enough. When you come back from an exam with 98 points, instead of your parents going, wow, 98, congratulations, your parents will come to you and say, where's the two? Correct or not, Michelle? Correct, right?
Yes.
They'll ask you, where is that missing few points? Yeah? Okay, let's see what's with Karen. For being too strong and doesn't realize there are shoulders that we can lean on. Yes. We go through moments like that when we think that we are invisible. We are the best. We are like superheroes, right? But you know what? Our role as a superhero, as a human being, is not to save others. Our role as a human being, as a superhero, is to save ourselves. And that's why one of the questions that was in the poll, on the community poll, many of you shared that you're struggling with balance, work life, and yourself, right? Now, how do you balance that? How do you think? How do you think you can balance that?
I want to give someone else a chance to answer. Anyone wants to answer?
Let me answer that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sorry, I forgot what was the question just now.
How so many of you said that shared that struggling with work-life balance, balance of
Mm.
family, balance of work, balance of yourself, but how can
Mm.
you balance it, do you think?
Switch off my laptop and pick up my handphone and chat with communities in M Plus, and they really make my day.
Okay. Switch off your laptop, switch off everything, and really just give yourself time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. What else then? What else? Anybody else like to share? Michelle?
I think I need to recharge myself more
Mm-hmm.
importantly so that I have the fuel to balance the rest in my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how many of you think that giving balance is actually giving equal time to each thing? It's like, oh, I have 12 hours today. I've got to work through my family, I work through my work, I've got to give myself time. So let's go and give 3 hours each. And that goes or 4 hours each. That goes my 12 hours. How many of you believe that being balanced is giving yourself equal time?
No.
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 Yeah, then what do you think is then?
I think the balance is when you prioritize certain task,
Mm-hmm.
knowing what takes priority for that moment first,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, that would be balance for me. So like if today is a quiet day, then giving quality to time for family and things like that. And then
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if something is urgent, quickly focus on that, get that done, that kind of thing. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
So prioritizing, planning, time management,
yeah.
that's your way of looking at balance. But what
Mm.
if I tell you there's not there's that what if I tell you if we change our mindset from looking at work-life balance, why don't we look at work-life integration?
Mm.
Think of it a different way. Because balancing is almost like saying, okay, if I don't do this, I'm going to do that instead. So I'm going to give myself time. So therefore, I'm going to shut off everything, right? And then give myself half an hour and do this thing that I want, right? What about
Right.
if we look at life integration where we say, you know what, whatever I'm doing right now, if I feel peaceful with it, I'm going to enjoy it anyway.
Mm.
Because you can't really take one out and put another one in, right?
No.
It's not like during the COVID where we say, oh, we're working at home, so therefore we need to have work-life balance because you're working in the house and you're working, because during COVID, you were stuck in the house,
Yeah.
right? For the few months that we were in the home, right? So you really need to go and work life into balance because you really need to go and okay for this now from 9 to 5 I really need to sit in my room now because that's my office,
Mm.
right? And then after that I need to go outside, right? Because you're stuck in the same place and you have no choice. But if given the choice, if I was to say to you, why not integrate your work, your balance into your living? So that whatever you're doing when you're very calm. So if you look at this balancing here, so I've got work at the bottom because a lot of us put a lot of priority at work, right? Because we feel that if we don't work well, we don't get our money, we don't get money, we don't get our financial. That's one of our biggest problems. So I put work at the bottom, right? And then we put family next because family is the next biggest stone that I find. Yeah, and then you have yourself. We always put ourselves smallest. Yeah,
Yes.
because we always think that everything else is more important than myself. Yeah. So now, but what is it that's holding this thing together? Is it the external or the internal? What is it that's holding them together? Your inner. So if you look at this little core bit here, this is the part in the middle. where the arrow is. This is the little part here in the middle that's holding it together. It's so small. It is so small. And that's you. That's your core. Once you believe, once you're able to have that inner calm, if that thing is actually moving, do you think that the few things can be balanced on there? No. The only reason why it can be balanced is because you guys are calm. It's inner calm. That when you're able to accept that my family, my work, and myself is all part of that triangle. It doesn't go away. I cannot replace and say, okay, Sunday is not a work day. Sunday is family day, so therefore I need to commit to my family. Oh no, Saturday is my day, so I cannot do anything. So when the phone calls come, I don't answer it because it's not possible, right? Because some of our work requires us to have the phone next to us sometimes. And for me, if my client calls me on a Sunday night, I can't say sorry. It's my off day today. Bye. I'll talk to you later. I can't, right? Because those clients are part of my work. They're part of what creates what I do is to give back to them, right? So this is what's making me feel peaceful as well when I can help another individual. So I integrate it all into my work. Where like today, now doing this share is also part of work for me.
Yeah.
Right? But for you, it's part of you taking the time for yourself. But actually, by you sitting here today, listening to this talk, does it only help yourself or does it help you with your relationship and with your family?
All of the above.
Correct. So there's no balance, it's only integration. So there's balance is nothing about giving equal time to each other or each of those priorities that you put out. But balance is actually when you have the inner calm world where you're able to feel comfortable with whatever you're doing.
True.
And you feel like you're able to then conquer the world, right? Because if you think about it, if you yourself is not able, then how are you going to be helping other people? I always say to my clients, and in every talk that I do about importance and self-love, is when you're in a plane and the air stewardess, before the flight takes off, the air stewardess will always say one thing: in times of emergency, what will drop down? The oxygen mask. And what do you do first? Put it on
Take
who?
yourself first.
Put it on yourself. Correct. Yes, Nora, you got it. Put it on yourself. Right? You have to put it on yourself first before tending to other people. Right? And you also have to put on that life jacket first before you tend on to other people. But no, that's the correct thing to do, but not in our mind. Our mind will stand there and say, fight it, put on. And then you're there helping them to zip. Right?
Exactly.
Right? Our mind, this is the correct procedure. Our mind tells us this is what you do. But in terms of emergency, the first thing you do, guys, ladies, is the first thing you do is you look at the person next to you, which could be your husband, your mother, your wife, your whoever, and you'll be zipping them up. You'll be pulling that mask over them because you know why? We think that we're superheroes. We think that our role as a woman, as a mother, as a sister, as a daughter is here to go and work for other people. Stop. We need to stop. So whatever emotions that we're going through, it's legit. Their emotions are legit. We give them time. But your emotions are legit too, so give yourself time. So integrate it together. Find that inner peace, find that inner balance. When you find that, you'll be able to have it. So I always have this. So what has helped me during my recovery in those months in Thailand was this 3 questions reset. I always ask myself 3 things. What am I feeling right now? Not what I think I should be feeling, yeah? What am I feeling right now? What am I actually feeling?
And be honest, ladies.
Correct. So like for Joyce, I lost my very dear brother 2 years ago, and yesterday was 2 days ago was actually his birthday. Right? So I actually remembered him through a little note that we used to do together. It's a picture that we took in China, many years back. It was our first trip together to China together, and I put that picture. And when people ask me how do I feel, it's how I felt. I felt sad. But for a moment, I felt betrayed. Like, hey, Paul, you've left, and then you're just leaving this parents to me. Where are you when I need you to help out? So how did I feel that moment? Not how I'm supposed to feel. Because people expected me to feel sad because I lost my brother, correct?
Yep.
But actually, I felt more than just sad. I felt betrayed at that moment when my brother left. Because he left the whole looking after my parents to us, right? So in a way, I felt more than just sad. And I'm okay to admit that in a selfish way, and it's okay. So what am I feeling right now does not equate to what people think or what I think I should feel. Is what I actually do feel. Yeah? And of course, the next question is, what do I need? What do I need? Yeah. Remember, it talks about no need to having to stay strong and always looking that you're so brave and strong. The support, the clarity, the rest, the boundaries. Right? We are never certain enough with what that the boundaries that we set. So this came back to the question that um, we were discussing with Karen just now about looking after our parents. So I'm a caregiver as well to two very sick parents. My dad is 84. My dad is 85. My mom is 84. My dad's got dementia, and my mom just came back. We came back from China, and then she had a very bad case of swelling legs, and she had an infection, and then it was gout. She has gout. So I'm looking after two very ailing parents. And then Karen asked me, Win Mei, what are you doing for December? Have you got any plans? I says, well, you know what? I'm stuck here looking after my parents. But initially, when I was told to live with them 10 years back or 12 years back, when my best friends were McCallans and Johnny Walker, when my best friends were those, I felt it was horrible because my sister said to me, "When May, you're single. Well, I'm divorced. You're single. You have no children. You're the youngest in the family, so therefore you meet all the criteria looking after your parents." Right? I mean, that is bad, right? That is bad. That is really bad, right? And so with these three criteria that they told me, I hated it. I found it was a chore. I found that it was a title. I found that it was a duty, and I hated every single moment of it. I felt like I'm obligated. But if I didn't do it, then I'm considered not filial. 不孝順啦. I'm a
Yeah.
bad daughter. I
Yeah.
don't want to do this for my parents. But it's a title.
Yeah.
All they did was give me a title, right? It was a title they gave to me. And because of that title, I feel like I am bounded to the duties that this title came. Because you're my mother, I have to look after you. Because I'm your daughter, I have to do this. It was a title. Now I came back from COVID in 20. I came back just before COVID in 2019 for a holiday. I was living in Nepal at that time. I had all my freedom. Yay! Great, right? So I came back in 2019 for a holiday, and I was stuck in KL. That's it. I was stuck here for good. COVID came. I never went back. Right? But now I'm living with my parents for the past 5 years, without a moment of pain or duty or chore, because I felt that I really want to spend time with these two beautiful, amazing people that I love, respect, and cherish. My mindset changed. I removed the title because the title just gave it power over you to control an individual, right? So if you're just a mother, that's your chore, that's your duty, that's your control. If you're a daughter, if you're a wife, you're this. That title just stops you from wanting to be more, but it also controls you to be bounded by that particular role. So it comes back down to how many roles are we carrying?
Way too many. Way too many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because of the title of that role, we have to behave
Yep.
in a particular manner. Correct? It's horrible, right? Remember what was the first question just now? What am I feeling right now? Not what my role tells me to feel. Because of that position that I'm supposed to be in. Because of what I'm going through right now, so therefore I should feel like that. Because of these circumstances, because of that, if I don't feel like that, then I'm considered, oh my goodness, how can you not cry? How can you not feel, how can you laugh at moments like this? How can you be smiling? That's wrong because that moment doesn't allow you to do that. But that's how I feel. Why are you judging me? Right?
Yeah.
So therefore, we need to be able to accept ourselves for that. So what do I need right now? What do I need? I need clarity. I need a boundary. I need people to stop telling me what to do. And I need to tell myself I agree to feel and what I agree to make me do what I want to do possible. Right? So the next question is one small step. What should I do next to reset? So now that you know how you think, now that you know what I need to do, what do I need? Next thing is, what is that small step that I can take next? Not 10,000 steps, not 15,000 steps, just one. Right? We say to ourselves, because I should feel like this because of this situation, so therefore I need to do all this. And I have to do all this huge amount of work. Right? Like I went through I'm 49. I went through menopause when I was 43. Overnight. Overnight. I woke up the next morning and I never had it. Never. 43 years old. I stopped. The day that I was supposed to have my menstruals, I woke up in that morning, nothing came. Next day, nothing came. I actually panicked and thought, am I pregnant? But I haven't had sex for the last 2 years. So how can I be pregnant? So you had all these funny things going through your head. But hey, I was just wondering, could I have, I mean, Mary gave birth. So I was just thinking, could that happen to me? Right? But it's been
Yeah.
2 years. I was living in Nepal. I was living in I was living in a monastery in Nepal. How could this happen to me? But it happened to me. And overnight, nothing happened. Nothing. I never had any flushes. I never had anything. But only thing that happened to me was I put a lot of weight. I went from 65 kg to almost 100 kg. That was the only thing that happened. Right? Because I suppose because I didn't go through any of all those flushes and all those sufferings, I think it all just came in one point and I just ballooned up. Right? But then I realized what happened. I had thyroid. So because of my thyroid and the hormonal, it just sort of clashed each other and I put a lot of weight. So I had to do one small step. So I knew that I felt really disgusted with my body. I felt really disgusted with the weight that I put on. So what do I need? I need a support. I need a group that can help me. I need clarity. I need to know what happened to me. Right? So I went to the doctors. I had the clarity. I knew that it was because I had thyroid, because I have this, and all the immune system, it was clashing together, and that's why my weight was boosted up. Okay, so I had clarity. I knew then what happened. So I was given an answer. And then what do I need to do? I need to set a boundary. Because I had people telling me, oh my goodness, you put on so much weight, you're fat.
Not
Do
helpful.
this program. Exactly. Do this program, do that program, do this TR90, do this weight loss, do this Herbalife. People were coming to me selling me products. Right? If I was to listen to them, I'll be stuck with products. But I didn't. Right? So I set my boundary. I knew exactly what I was, and then I just took one small action. One thing that I can do. The doctors say women exercise. That's the least you can do. Exercise and have a healthy diet. Two things. Right? So I decided to take one small step first. Started exercising. Meaning I went for a walk. Something not difficult. Yeah? So instead of taking a big step by buying everything and then going to the slimming centers and everything, no, I just did one small action to make a change in my life. Right? So I did my first question. I asked myself, what was I feeling? I knew things that I needed to do. And then I just took action for one step. Not 10,000 steps, just one. Okay, so I went down from 103 kilos down. Now I'm 86 or 85. Yeah? So it's progress. It's a shift.
Yeah.
It's a progress. And I love it. Right? We don't need to have big successes. Right? So now what we need to do is every time you feel a bit like, ish, take a reset. Take a mindful moment for yourself. Pause for a simple reset. Just have to relax your shoulders. I'm going to teach you what I call the 4-2-6. Have you heard of it before? 4-2-6.
The breathing, ladies.
Correct. The breathing. 4-2-6.
See,
It's a very simple.
Everything that I try to bring is to all connected. We did the breathing exercise
Correct.
in May, so yeah, super important.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
It's very important.
yeah,
Okay. Now I'm going to say to you, breathing is important because if you don't breathe, you will die.
yeah. And we don't breathe. To be honest, we are not.
If you don't breathe, you're gonna die. So we're just gonna teach you how to breathe mindfully and using the right moment for it. Okay, so it's called the four. You know how to do the 4-2-6, right? You inhale for 4, you hold it for 2, and then you exhale for 6. And then keep doing it until your body softens. And then let that breath settle in your mind because it's very, very important. It's very important to do that. Okay? So when you're able to reconnect yourself for that mindful moment, so every time you feel a bit stressed, overwhelmed, Vinny, just do that 4-2-6 first, right? Overwhelmed, stressed, do the 4-2-6. And then ask yourself that 3 questions. What am I feeling right now? What am I feeling right now? What is the feeling that's going through me right now? And to overcome this feeling, what do I need to do? Do I need to talk to somebody? Just call Karen. Hey, Karen, I don't feel too good. Support. Call. I don't feel too good. I need to rest. Go for sleep. I need clarity. Speak to an expert. I need boundaries. Am I learning to say no because somebody's making... sometimes your overwhelming feelings come from somebody else that's making you feel very like closed up.
Yeah.
Vinny can do that. Vinny can do. Vinny can do it. Vinny can do. Can do it. Can do it. Can do it. Can do it. Until you're like, hey, hello, shut up. Stop asking me, right? And you don't tell that person no. You feel it in, right? You keep it inside. You keep it inside yourself. And then who's the person who's suffering? The person asking you or you, Vinny? You, right? So whenever we feel overwhelmed, ask us this question. Is it clarity that we need? Is it support that we need? Is it rest that I need? Or is it the boundary that I need to set? Maybe just telling the person no, and then giving yourself some time, and then doing one small action. Go and buy cha ji and have a nice cup of milk tea. That helps sometimes too.
Yeah.
Right? Treat yourself. Yeah. So we have those kind of things that we can do to make us feel a bit better. Now the next thing that we want to do is after you've had your micro moments, meaning you have gotten what you have to do. Next thing you need to reconnect with yourself. I always believe in this. Keep your passion alive.